Hello, I'm Lee, I'm an intuitive, and every month I take the pulse on what might be showing up for you energetically, psychologically, emotionally. The themes for June are varied, but three that I will be highlighting and focusing on are change overwhelm, receiving miracles, and handling conflict energy. Stay tuned for the full update and all 8 themes. Hi everyone, welcome to the energy update for June. Can you believe that we are almost halfway through this year, which has been going very, very fast? And the first theme I'm going to share with you this month is really a check-in on how you're doing. The big heading, change overwhelm. So people feeling overwhelmed by the amount of change that we are experiencing on energetic levels, on global levels, and even in your personal life. I know many of you, like me, may have gone through a lot of changes in the last year or so. But even if you're somebody who doesn't feel like your outer world has changed that much, you will be probably experiencing at least some level of change overwhelm. So this is where we feel worn out, exhausted, confused, or more likely disoriented by how dizzying everything around us has been. So firstly, know that you are not alone in this feeling. It's definitely going round. It may even be the case that you can't put your finger on why you're feeling so off kilter. But if you think about everything that's going on in the world, even if you don't pay attention to what's going on in the world, the ripples of that energy, they come through our walls of our homes into us. Even if we aren't focused on them, it's in the air, and we, the people, are carrying our energetic reactions to what's going on. So everyone around you and everyone you're interacting with, and even groups of people that you might be walking through on a daily basis, perhaps you're not talking to those people, you're just making your way, traveling to and from, but it's being carried in the hearts and minds of people, how overwhelming this time can be to our nervous system, to our emotions. So change overwhelm is something that's going around, and you may have already caught this because it certainly started before June, but June is an opportunity, if you are feeling this, to really take a moment to recognize, okay, I've got way too much going on either in my outer life or my inner life, and I'm the one who needs to create some pauses, some stops, or some readjustments. Maybe you can't do June the way you thought you were going to do June because you've got to the point where you realize you're just feeling more fragile, less strong, or less certain than before. And the key with this is to just give yourself some time. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some patience, and think about what perhaps small regular actions you can do that can help you reset. So even if you're someone who has a lot of responsibility, a lot of things on your calendar, we can still find those small changes to our habits that bring us a moment of peace. It might be making sure that you read a book for 15 minutes at night before you go to bed that is helping you either escape or feel different. It might be that you increase your meditation practice, or you make sure you go out for a walk each day for a mental health experience for yourself. So we can't white knuckle this time. And if we try and white knuckle this time, we will break our knuckles. So make sure you're looking after yourself and make sure you're keeping an eye on your change overwhelm. And even if you don't understand why you're feeling overwhelmed, even if you can't find a reason in your personal life, the world is overwhelmed at the moment, and it's affecting all of us at different moments, at different times, and in different ways. But if we can take a breath and find a way to reset, we're going to be able to keep navigating. This links in some ways to the second theme of the month, which is lightning fast changes and turnarounds in the air. Lightning fast changes and turnarounds in the air. So, either you or those around you might be experiencing sudden turns of events. If this is the case for you, hold your center, and the message is it will all smooth out, even if it is immediately shocking. So that's not to say that there can't be things that happen to us that take time to work through or that can be, challenging for a while. But there is a message here that, especially in the month of June, there are going to be some twists and turns, perhaps not in your life, but perhaps for people close to you, that seem shocking, that seem sudden, and that seem like fast turnarounds. The other thing I want to say about this is, this can also be very positive. This doesn't necessarily just mean the change or the turnaround is negative, quite the opposite. It could be that something you've been struggling with or going through for a period of time has a very quick healing or a very quick shift. And I'll come to that with the theme about receiving miracles. I'll be able to talk about that in more detail a couple of themes from now. But the message is hold your center and it will smooth out, even if it is immediately shocking. So lightning fast changes and turnarounds are in the air. This is par for the course with the level of energetic chaos on the planet. And even though it may appear to those of you who pay attention to some of the big moves that are being made in the power systems on the planet, even those systems are experiencing this energetic chaos. I know often there can be a heavy feeling of being out of control, or that we the people don't have a say in things that are going on that may be threatening to us. But even on that stage, even those who are playing with the systems of power in the world, there is a level of chaos going on for all of us on the planet right now. So it does pay to have a personal practice that keeps you connected to yourself, your life, the moment, the day, the fact that we're breathing and the fact that we're alive. If you've been around me for many years, you'll know that one of the things I live by, thanks to my guides, the Z's, many, many years ago, instilling this in me, we never know how long we're here for. We don't actually know the day that we are going to leave this planet. And perhaps people who've reached their 80s, 90s, 100s start to realize that their time is a bit more limited, sure. But for any of the rest of us, we never quite know how long we've got left. So try and stay right-minded about things. I don't feel depressed by that truth, quite the opposite. I feel liberated. And it makes me remember that, we're here in the body having an experience. And even though this is a very chaotic and in many ways troubling or difficult year on global levels, these lightning fast changes and turnarounds that are in the air, they can also be harnessed for the positive. So many of you will see breakthroughs in June around things that you might have been struggling with in some cases for years, or certainly for the last 9 months or so. There's going to be a real shift as we go into June and July around this last, let's say 9-10 months on the planet. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out for you personally. Number 3, and this is a big one, handling conflict energy. Handling conflict energy. We know that there are some incredibly distressing acts of war and all kinds of different things going on the planet, and I'm not going to name too many of them simply because of algorithms and all of that stuff. But what I would like to speak to is the conflict energy that is in the air that we are often seeing being pumped. So we've seen division being pumped among people, groups being pitted against each other, the flames being fanned around us fighting with each other. And that is our greatest, if you like, that will be our greatest weakness. If we agree to continue battling and fighting each other around what we each believe is right or the right way of being, rather than accepting that we do live in a diverse world, we live in a multidimensional world, we're going to come unstuck. So the handling conflict energy is quite important for a couple of reasons. I'll explain why, what I got here, and then I'll elaborate. So conflict energy is going round. So you may be experiencing conflict energy yourself with someone, or seeing it with people around you. Perhaps you're just watching it play out on a global scale and it's really troubling you. But here's the key point. Many are experiencing conflict energy as conflict with self. So these reverberations that are happening around us, we're not immune to them. You know, if you walk into a room where there are lots of people fighting and they're angry, you're not going to walk out of that room and just feel completely fine. You're going to have to shake it off. You're going to have to clear your energy, whatever methods or tools you use for that. But you are going to have to shake off the intense energy that you were just in. Well, we're seeing lots of this permeated and carried on Earth and spread on Earth. And of course, there are loads of outlets, individuals, groups who are spreading the opposite, who are wanting to spread positivity, transformation, healing. So both exist. But the reason I wanted to talk about conflict energy is many are internalizing this now. So have you been particularly hard on yourself in the last few months? Have you been feeling particularly dark about life, about your life, about things going on in your life? This is when you know that the conflict energy of the world is overtaking you, is overpowering you. And so be mindful, if you're someone who hasn't really been able to explain to yourself why you've been so hard on yourself or attacking of yourself, or perhaps you've had a recurrence of old self-judgmental tendencies in the last 6 months or so, you might be someone who, rather than being a person who is able to bring your anger or your fire outward, you might be an internalizer. And what might have happened to you in response to all of these world energies is that you're being particularly tough and hard on yourself. So the mantra, I release any energies and emotions that are not mine. I release any energies and emotions that are not mine. We have a free mantra on YouTube, a musical mantra of that. If you want to go and use it, you can play the music, you can sing along, you can recite it. And you probably have your own tools and ways of clearing and resetting your energy, but the conflict energy is something that can be very seductive. It's very low frequency, and it's something we need to shake off. It's something we need to be able to move through our own system and come back to center with. So just be aware that that conflict energy permeates and spreads, and you might be ricocheting off it. You might have felt more scared than ever before. You might have felt more judgmental of yourself or others than ever before. So it's going to be really important for you to find ways to balance yourself, ways to shake that energy off, and ways to release energies and emotions that are not yours, particularly those that are conflict-based. Because conflict energy is a very active, very fiery energy. It's not a resolution energy. It's not a centered energy. Sometimes we go through a conflict to get to resolution or to get to being centered. But for the highly sensitive among you right now, some of you will have been really caught up in this. So I hope that something I've said can help you see it a different way, or perhaps approach the way you're handling it with even more care and even more importance. Okay. The fourth theme. You are no longer the same. I know that sounds obvious, and of course, you know, we're changing every day, but you are no longer the same. It's funny because this is the one thing, I get the themes from my guides each month, and this is the one theme they changed. It was, who are you now? And instead, it got changed to, you are no longer the same. So this relates to internal reviews that you might be doing of your habits, your wants, and your needs to mirror the external world changes. Internal reviews of your habits, your wants and your needs to mirror the external world changes. So because we are in this very seismic time around global everything, not just global systems, global everything, it has a knock-on effect where for many of you, you might not quite know who you are or what you want or what's important anymore. Certainly because there are some big things going on that make you really realize what truly is important. Shelter, community, the ability to feel safe. So this isn't a bad thing, by the way. If you're currently feeling a bit lost, or you're currently thinking, I don't know what I want anymore. I used to feel this, this, and this. That puts you right in the heart of the change energy that we're in. So there's nothing to worry about. And the message is, this is a big and ongoing process. So be patient with it and be patient with yourself. Now, if you're someone who's very much, if you're someone who's a real type A doer, you're probably a bit challenged right now because you might feel a bit stopped, but that's okay. You know, you'll go back to a certain level of your type A doing, but you'll probably go back to it with more peace, with a bit more spaciousness, with a bit more of an ability to go, okay, I don't really know. Because there is a massive, we're not, I mean, we're in the heart of this year, but the message is we're about a third of a way through some of these big global changes that we're going to be in that will run into early 2025 as well. So be patient. It's okay if you don't know what you want and need anymore. But if you're really honest with yourself, all of us know what certain wants and needs are. Even if your big why for life has dramatically changed or you can't find one and that's bothering you, we all have small, simple things on a daily basis that are important to us. So lean into the small things. Celebrate the small things. Go, I know I want to have a good night's sleep tonight if I can. So let me focus on that. I know I want to connect with that loving friend. Let that be enough. Because this change process is fast, is furious, and it can also be quite destabilizing. So it's going to take a little while for some of us to be able to know where the ground is again. And like with everything, when we surrender to what we're in, everything moves a lot faster. When we fight it, it stops. And yes, I know that one too. Okay, theme number 5. This is a good one. This one is receiving miracles. Receiving miracles. This came through my guides in a portal broadcast that I did for my portal members community yesterday. There is a very strong and stable high frequency that is at work on Earth right now that is helping to balance all the lower frequencies. And this very strong, stable high frequencies is allowing miracles to happen. So it's allowing for seeming miracles to come in. Now that can be turns of events that you have prayed for, or turns of events that you didn't think were possible. Or perhaps you have some dream or some goal that you think might take you a year or two, and all of a sudden, something very quick comes in on that timeline. This relates also to the fast changes and turnaround theme that was theme number 2 this month. So this links into that, and that was the positive side of fast changes and turnarounds that I was sharing. But there is a very strong and stable high frequency at work on Earth that is helping balance the lower frequencies and is allowing for seeming miracles to come in. Turns of events you have prayed for or didn't think possible. And the other piece of this is you might be recruited as a miracle worker this month, meaning you might be bestowed with the clarity, the resources, or the ability to help someone. It might just suddenly come through, I can really help this person. And you will be the human angel that can deliver that miracle to someone else, to a group. And there will be an increasing number of us as we go through time, but this has certainly been happening in recent months, who are feeling called to stand for things and feeling called to say no, feeling called to support those who are otherwise marginalized or being maligned by things going on the planet. So the miracle for you might be that you suddenly find this new level of power in yourself, that you're very clear, I want to be an earth angel. I want to help these people. I want to see what I can do. I want to be an instrument and a conduit of bringing some of this change. So receiving miracles, that's going to be not just a theme for June, but that's going to be something that we see playing out over the next 3 months. So I hope you can harness some of that and invite some of that, into your life and into what you can sprinkle into the lives of other people. The next theme is an interesting one for me. It's one that came from my guides. It's not one I'm very aware of right now, but the theme is environmental fragility awareness. Environmental fragility awareness. So I know there's a lot that's out there about environmental instability, environmental threats. The message I got is there is more to it than we've been told. There is more to the story of climate change, environmental fragility than we've been told. It's not to say that lots of elements of it aren't true, but there is a story that we're being told of it that has been somewhat, is the word edited or censored? Manipulated is the word. So more is being revealed about that now. So it's going to be important because for us to be able to work on behalf of the environment in the coming decades, we're going to need to know the full picture and we're going to need to be invited into the solutions. So we're at the beginning, and I don't know what this means or how it will show up, but we're at the beginning of a breaking open around that, which is right in tandem with the theme of We the People, which is very big this year. This year is the year that things start to shift to We the People having a bigger role and a bigger say in what's coming in the future years than we have yet been allowed to or invited to. The next theme is similar. It's another one I don't have much personal understanding or seeing of right now. The theme is lights in the sky. Lights in the sky. Disclosure continues about our place in the universe. Disclosure continues about other beings in the universe that we may or may not be connected to. And I know there are many of you out there who are very on this and have been for years. I know there are some of you out there going, never even thought about that, or not sure what I feel about it. As we go through the coming years, galactic knowledge is going to become more of our world. And so the disclosure around all of this is going to take another spike and another leap forward in the next month or two. And as with anything, you have to discern the information for yourself and the source of the information, because there can be 6 different sources telling you a story about disclosure. They may have different agendas. They may have different slants. So you have to trust for yourself. But the truth, the greater truth, is beginning to rise and can be less suppressed at this time in history. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And lastly, praying for peace. Praying for peace. Acts of prayer, actions or activism toward peace and global conversation are having an effect and are changing the old system slowly, too slowly for most of our liking, but they are changing the old system slowly despite outer appearances. So praying for peace, acts of prayer, actions towards peace, and global conversation about peace are having an effect and are changing the old system slowly. So to all of you who are frontline activists around this, thank you on behalf of all of us. And I think it's in all of our hearts and awareness at some level. So you might find yourself being a bit more active around that. And you might also be someone who has been praying for peace and making a vibrational difference through your quiet internal focus on seeing all of this conflict energy that we're experiencing right now that's really rising to the surface, that's very old, very historic, and is energetically up for review, basically. It's important to stay with it, and it's important to know that even though it doesn't look like it's immediately solving anything. It is having an effect, and it is slowing down the stranglehold of the old and the forward momentum that the old might like to have over what's going on. So those are the 8 themes for this month. And I hope you can take good care of yourself and take good care of the people around you and take good care of whatever miraculous strangers or new experiences might come into your life this morning. I know these aren't easy times, and I know that we can all go up and down on a bit of a wave. And one of our biggest jobs at the moment is to the best of our ability, stabilize ourselves, reset ourselves, and when we can, reopen ourselves to life, to the miracle of life, to the miracles that are around, and to the work that we're here doing, which is, for many of us, hoping to be able to bring and affect change on the planet. So I'm actually celebrating this month 20 years that I have been doing this work. June 13th, 2004 was the first time I did a channeled reading for a member of the public. And, I'd been channeling privately and for my friends for about, 6 years at the time. So I wanted to celebrate the 20 years by going on tour, which we're doing. We're doing a tour across North America, which begins on June 12th. The tour is virtually sold out. We only have about 25 seats left for New York and for Boulder, Colorado. The rest of the venues are all sold out. So if you do want to come to New York and Boulder, please book your ticket today because they will go, and we can't wait to be with you, myself and Devor Bozique, and members of my team who will be in attendance. But I'm also doing a special course called How to Channel and Why. Like many of you, I'm a student of personal development and metaphysics now since I was 16 years old, so 32 years. But the one thing that changed everything for me was my personal channeling practice, which then, of course, became my work. So How to Channel and Why is really about developing a personal channeling practice that can support you in your daily life in these tumultuous times. And I've created an extensive video course and broken it down for you. So we'll play a trailer for the course if you're interested to check it out. But it starts on June 19th with a whole array of pre-recorded video materials, some audio too. And then I'll be doing a live Q&A session for it in July to answer any questions of any of you who attend the course. So really looking forward to How to Channel and Why coming out to you on June 19th, and we'd love to have you if you'd like to be with us. And lastly, I did mention earlier my Portal members community, which has now been going for 11 years. And every month I do a version of this, but for a little over 90 minutes, including taking questions, including answering questions from my guides, the Z's. And then we also offer a whole host of video and audio each month in different areas to support you in your life. This month, we begin our brand new medicine mantra series, and it will be the medicine mantra, I allow myself to receive. And I've created a special energy guide for Portal members for that too. You can get that MP3 in my store separately if you want, but if you're a Portal member, you get it included as part of your membership. We'd love to have you if you want to try it out for a month and see if it's for you. But for now, I think that's everything. So I hope you have a good June. I look forward to seeing some of you in person on the tour, and we'll leave you with this trailer for How to Channel and Why, just so you can get a taste of it and see if it's for you. Lots of love, everyone. Take good care. How to Channel and Why is my video masterclass on channeling and how it can enhance your daily life. All of us can channel the voice of our soul and the voice of our higher self. And the more we do it, the more it becomes an incredible journey of self-growth and expansion. Channeling used to be something that I observed from afar and thought only other people did or special people did. And yet when I began channeling, it started for me on the London Underground, the most unlikely place. I certainly didn't think I was qualified to channel. But what I learned through my own experience is that any of us can channel. As you go through this course, I'm going to share with you the deep link between channeling and intuition, how the two really depend on each other and bounce off each other. And certainly for me, as someone who works as an energy intuitive and a channeler, the relationship between those two has been very important. The course covers everything from different types of channeling, channeling self-care, how to work with your messages, a 7-day video guide where I literally walk you through the channeling steps and accompany you each day, an interview with my guides, the Z's, about the act of channeling and what's happening when we're in that process, bonus interviews with channelers Paul Selig and Wendy Kennedy to hear about their personal experience as channelers and how it has affected their life, and so much more. I can't wait to start working with you on how to channel and why you would. The answer is, it enhances your life. Click the link below for more details.